Dean Gilligan, the convocation has gathered.
Welcome. Please be seated. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tom Gilligan, and I'm the Dean of the McCombs School of Business. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome our Fall 2014 graduating class and their families and friends to this commencement ceremony. This is a momentous day in the lives of our graduates. When you first arrived at UT, you came with hopes of earning a first-class business education and launching a bright future. We on the faculty and staff of the McCombs School hoped that you would be dedicated students, that you would display noble characteristics of curiosity, compassion, and leadership, that you would demonstrate initiative and an entrepreneurial spirit, and that you would maintain the highest of ethical standards. I am pleased to say today that you have exceeded our expectations in every way. We are very proud of you and delighted to have you carry forth the reputation of the McCombs School of Business and the University of Texas at Austin into the world. A graduation ceremony is called commencement for a reason. All of us are delighted to celebrate with you and as you prepare to begin the next phase of your life. I would like to introduce our commencement marshals. Professor John Heibarger, a lecturer in the Department of Marketing and Administration. John, thank you. You can applause. And Professor Mary Lou Pileski, a lecturer in the Department of Finance. Thank you, Mary Lou. I'd like to break the ceremony now to remind everybody that it is a commencement and it appears to be solemn, but it's Saturday and it's a celebration too, so it's okay to applaud at any time. This year's student speaker is Samantha Horst. Samantha is originally from Sugar Land, Texas, and a senior marketing major with a minor in supply chain management. She has been an ambassador of the university through her participation on the University of Texas's cheer team for 4 years. For the past 3 years, she has worked at McCombs in the Office of Student Life, providing administrative support and assisting in the coordination of various events. She has also been part of Leadership, Target Your Future, and was a volunteer coordinator for the Longhorn Run. Following graduation, Sam is looking forward to working at Oracle as a sales and business development representative. Here to deliver a message on behalf of the graduating class is Samantha Horst.
All right, good afternoon, y'all. Welcome, family, friends, alumni, faculty and staff, and of course, our honored graduates. First off, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today, because without y'all, we definitely would not be sitting here. This is a huge moment and accomplishment in most of our lives. I know I've been striving for this my whole life, or at least since the first day of kindergarten when I began my educational journey. And that's what I want to talk to y'all about today. No, not my fabulous kindergarten career, but about life. What is life? Well, the dictionary gives us this definition: the property or quality that distinguishes living organisms from dead organisms in inanimate matter. Wow. Thanks a lot, Webster. But I think everyone in this room has pondered this question. I'm here to tell you I cannot give you the answer. They say there's a key to life. However, I've never met any locksmiths who know how to make this key. This is because there is no key to life. There is no formula graduates, engineers, or scientists can figure out. But that's the beauty of it. You're not expected to be normal or like anyone else. You're not expected to follow a strict formula. You may not be able to choose inevitable events that occur in your life, but you do get to choose your path. You do get to choose how to pick yourself up when adversity strikes. This is your life. And I've made up my own unique definition of life, and McCombs has helped shape this definition. Life is an acronym for love, intellect, friends and family, and eternal laughter. Now, I'd like to start at the end at eternal laughter and work my way back to love. Freshman year. Oh, geez. If we could go back to freshman year and watch how confused, how many mistakes, and how many outright embarrassing moments came from that year, we would have laughter for eternity, let me tell you. I remember getting my acceptance letter, as all you probably do. It was in October of 2010 when I went to the mailbox and saw a letter from UT. Of course, I was scared to open it, but I took a deep breath and ripped it open right there in the middle of the street. I not only got accepted in the university, but I got accepted into one of the premier business schools in the world. I was so ecstatic, I ran and hugged some random man walking his dog in the street. While I sprinted home, I left him standing there in complete shock. But y'all think that was bad. Let me ask, did anyone ever go to the Wendy's in Jester and order a kids' meal? Just to have them tell you that you're in college and they don't sell kids' meals there. Or did anybody raise their hand the first day of class to ask the professor to use the restroom? No? Is that one just me? Cool. Point is, I learned a lot about myself, about being independent and living the college life. We all did. And as we look back now at our freshman selves, we can't help but chuckle a little because of how absolutely ridiculous we were. And you know who's right there by your side laughing with you, or a lot of the times at you? Your friends and family, which stands for the third letter in life. Now, oh geez, excuse me. Sophomore year, we all had our bearings and we were taking more McCombs core classes. Professors would pair us up with total strangers to work on semester-long projects with. All those late nights trying to work on the project last minute, or practicing the presentation 10 minutes before class. We all became really good friends really fast. Y'all all thought going to parties and to the library on 6th Street was the way to meet people. Nope. You want to make friends, just do a group project. And by the time you leave McCombs, you will have so many friends. At McCombs, you're not just a student or a number. You're family. If any of y'all had Professor Pedersen for business law, you would understand. The first day of class, I walked in, and she was like, "Hi, Samantha." I was shocked she knew my name, but not only my name, she knew every single student's name in the class, and she had over 200 students. McCombs is where I met my best friends, and it's a community that looks out for each other. I am so proud to go to this school where so many generations of greatness have walked through those halls, and now we are a part of that greatness. You know, business students, they like to stereotype us as too proud, but I object. Because what I see is the restlessness, the not doing enough, the wanting more and the hunger in our eyes to be more. And to be more, we want to know more. We have a keen sense of intellect about us, and that is what the I in life stands for, intellect. Junior year was a tough year, filled with challenging courses. Thankfully, I did not have to take intermediate accounting. So for everyone who did, congratulations. You can accomplish literally anything. But we all had that one class that just stretched our intellectual capacity to the breaking point. For me, it was supply chain analytics. I took it as one of my minor electives because I thought it sounded interesting, which it was, but I was a marketing student who sat for hours at my computer screen, staring at it, trying to figure out my homework. Each week we had homework due, and each week I didn't think I was going to make it through. But I did, just as all of you did. McCombs and its amazing professors played a huge role in our academic career. They taught us that it was okay to make mistakes, as long as we tried and kept trying. You know, I love McCombs so much. As McCombs students, you know, we're not too proud. We're just not afraid of learning. Now I'd like to move on to the last letter of my acronym, L, for love. Yes, it might sound cliche, but I can honestly say I love my school. Senior year really puts a lot of things in perspective for us. We no longer have time to boost our GPAs or plan out our spring break trips for the next year. We are in full-time recruiting mode and trying to figure out the next steps and where we will be once college is over. We figured out the reason we love this school so much is not only the education and people, but the pride and tradition that UT has. I was on the University of Texas cheer team for 4 years, and there's nothing like being on the field and in front of 100,000 plus fans yelling Texas fight. The raw energy and passion we have for our school is spectacular. I feel bad for all the other schools out there, especially OU, because they weren't lucky enough to experience the school pride, tradition, and love that we were able to. I might have learned a lot these past 4 years, but I love the fact that we are a part of something bigger than we can ever imagine. All of these memories were created by McCombs. They were shaped by it. So let us not forget where we came from. We have a responsibility to carry on this greatness, a responsibility to give back to the school that gave us so much, and a responsibility to help future Macomb students achieve what we were able to today. And my advice to all the future Macomb students, my advice to all the future Longhorns, and to everyone in this room today is this: laugh at your failures, love passionately, and live life with so much light exerting from you that you are simply unforgettable. Now that's life. It's not about physically just being alive. It's about all the memories, big and small. The awkward snow days, the class procrastination, the projects, the up all-nighters. All of these memories, hold on to them and keep them close, because they are all memories full of love, intellect, friends and family, and eternal laughter. That's life. Congratulations, Fall Class of 2014. We did it. Hook 'em.
Thanks, Sam. And we've all enjoyed your enthusiasm on the field for 4 years, so thanks so much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce this afternoon's faculty speaker, Raji Srinivasan. Dr. Srinivasan is a professor of marketing and the Spurgeon Bell Centennial Fellow at Macombs. Dr. Srinivasan received her PhD from Pennsylvania State University and has been with UT for the last 14 years. She has won several teaching and research awards. She is an inaugural winner of the prestigious Erin Anderson Award for Emerging Female Marketing Scholar and Mentor, and the American Marketing Association's Varadarajan Award for early career contributions in the area of marketing and strategic management. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Raji Srinivasan.
Good afternoon, and congratulations, everyone. You made it. By everyone, I mean every one of you. Yes, graduates, their parents, grandparents, family, and friends. You have much to be proud of. Parents, you probably remember nostalgically the hot July day a few short years ago when you dropped your high school graduate at just of a summer orientation. I remember that because our parking lots are swamped on those days. Your mission is accomplished. A great pleasure of my job at the University of Texas is teaching young, smart, and energetic BBA students. All of us at the Macomb School of Business and at the University of Texas have enjoyed working with your children, so thank you, parents, for sending them our way. I'm going to speak for about 10 minutes now, and it's a well-known fact in public speaking that the audience gets the most pleasure when the speech is over. So you can look forward to experiencing that pleasure in about 10 minutes from now. And in the meantime, I'm afraid that you'll have to listen to me. When Dean Allard asked me to speak at the commencement ceremony, I asked myself if there was anything that I had wished I had known at my graduation 3 decades ago, and the lessons learned since then. I recalled many things that I did and some that I did not. I also recalled the many people, including family, friends, and even strangers, who gave me invaluable boosts along the way. One lesson stands out, and it is this lesson that I want to share with you graduates today. The lesson is that life is a marathon, not a sprint. I want you to take a minute and sort of digest that. And in the interest of full disclosure, I want to tell you that I'm neither a marathon runner nor a sprinter. I continue to be a beginner runner on the treadmill in my neighborhood gym, so that makes me really well qualified to speak about the marathon. But I will anyway go ahead. How is a sprint different from a marathon, and why should it matter? A sprint is run at top speed over a short distance in a few minutes. A marathon is a long-distance race, precisely 26 miles, 385 yards, lasting many hours. The young graduates may be wondering, how is my exciting future that's going to unfold even remotely like a marathon? And I'm going to try to show you that in the speech. Every marathon starts with one small first step, the runner's decision to run. Not a trivial one, given the extreme challenge of the marathon. As you stand at this important crossroad to stride boldly into the real world, you have to take the first step into your future. Maybe you want to be a management consultant, a doctor, a social entrepreneur, maybe an artist or a musician. Maybe some of you want to climb Mount Everest or visit the base station in Antarctica. Regardless of the future that you envision for yourself, take the first step towards it. Set a goal, make a plan. Your future is in your hands, although not entirely, as I'm going to tell you shortly. What does it take to compete in a marathon? Time, commitment, persistence, and sacrifice. And what does this mean for you? Show up. Day after day after day. Show up early, show up ready. There may be some days when you want to not show up. Indeed, you may want to hide under the covers. Resist the urge. This means sacrifices, early mornings, long hours, drudge work, and at times maybe even a lower salary than you'd like. View your life as a marathon, show up, and be prepared for the long race ahead. Showing up extends into your personal life as well. Many of the joys in my life are derived from my interests outside my work. Sorry, Dean Gilligan. I think you ought to know that. I imagine that this is true for many of you as well. Commit to developing at least 2 interests outside your work, whether it's traveling, hiking, scuba diving, or watching the orange glow of the Texas sunset. Yes, mindfully watching the sunset counts as an interest. Some of us will do that. Once the marathon begins, it's a long race calling for strength and endurance. A speeding sprinter cannot last beyond a few hundred yards. The same is true of your life. Pace yourself. You may not believe this, but sadly, graduates, you're human, and your bodies and mind need nourishment, work, play, and rest. Indeed, I have some bad news for the graduates today. You cannot get by in your life binge watching TV shows, 2 hours of sleep, and a snack bar on the way to work. I have to tell you, that's not going to happen. So plan to work some and rest some. Of course, you may need to sprint sometimes, but when you do, pull back and take the long view of the marathon ahead. And always make sure to get your beauty sleep. You're going to need it. What happens in a marathon? At the beginning, marathoners usually run alone, passing other runners. But as the marathon progresses, many runners run as a pack. The pack provides support and allows runners to push themselves and each other. In the words of an African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Your current pack of runners in your life is with you today. Look around. Your parents, grandparents, family, friends, UT faculty, UT staff, who have been with you, pulling for you, and pushing you on your journey so far, even when it may have been difficult sometimes for everyone involved. Acknowledge their support, thank them, and be grateful to them. I can tell you from my experiences that as you move ahead in your life, your family and friends will be the rich tapestry of love, joy, and laughter. Commit to your pack and build new packs as you move forward. You will need them, and they will need you. How do you commit? The same 2 words again. Show up. When they need you, with empathy, compassion, and kindness. What happens at the end of a marathon? There are no winners or losers in marathons. Anyone can win a marathon if you want to, including sauntering or hobbling our way to the finish line. It counts, in a marathon to finish. Marathoners compete not against others, but against themselves. I tell you from my experience that in the long arc of your life, you don't compete with anyone but yourself. So what does this mean for you again? Cooperate with others even as you compete. Perhaps some graduates are vigorously nodding their heads, disagreeing with me here, especially after the intense competition you have experienced in your young lives. College admissions, summer internships, and the job search. That was a lot of work. They were competitive, all right, and not just with yourself. I tell you that these are the bursts of sprints in the marathon of your life. You will look back and realize, maybe some of you already do, that they don't matter as much as you thought they did for success and happiness. I don't offer you any proof for this, just my word and the wisdom from the older members of your pack. Just ask them after the commencement ceremonies. Let me conclude now by talking about you, the young graduates. You are very privileged to be walking out into the world with a degree from the University of Texas. Use the power from this privilege well. Cultivate and practice integrity in all that you say and do. Make it a habit, make it you. Finally, the training and the networks that you've built at the University of Texas have prepared you well for the race ahead. Again, I have some bad news. It's only for now. Changes in technology, economics, and culture are continuously destroying and creating opportunities. What does that mean for you? You have to keep an open mind, and you have to keep an open eye so that you are constantly engaged in a process of learning and renewal. Be a lifelong student. Okay, so now we come to the best part of the speech for the audience, its end. And this is the only time I get a laugh from you folks. I'm really disappointed, but that's okay. I can deal with that. Okay, and I end with a quote from Dr. Seuss. Graduates, congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. So graduates, be well, do good, be in touch, hook 'em up. Thank you.
Thank you, Raji. Today's distinguished commencement speaker is UT and McCombs School alumnus, Rad Weaver. Rad received his BBA from McCombs in 1998. He is currently the CEO of McCombs Partners in San Antonio, Texas, and oversees the implementation of the company's investment strategies, including management of direct investments in private operating businesses. He serves on the board of the Circuit of the Americas, the UT Development Board, the UT Chancellor's Council. He's the past president of 1883 Council, the alumni support group at the university, and the McCombs Advisory Council. Mr. Weaver is also the director of the Texas Business Leadership Council and the San Antonio Regional Branch of the Federal Reserve. Please join me in welcoming Rad Weaver.
Thank you, Dean Gilligan, distinguished faculty, family of the graduates, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2014. Today is all about you, but if you allow me one point of personal privilege, I have a great partner in life, and I don't get to tell her thank you very much, and so I want to take the time today to do so. Ashley, my wife, is also a UT graduate, which will be quick to tell. Remind me, she graduated in December, but in 3.5 years, where it took me 4.5 years to graduate in December. So she is here with our daughter. So. She also threatened me with bodily injury for bringing her up in this speech, and so I thought I'd get done with it early. Parents, congratulations to you. I know many of you have made great sacrifices, both financial and emotional, to get your children to where they are today. You should be very proud. Let's give a round of applause to the parents. So Dean Gilligan came by my office a couple of months ago, and which is not terribly unusual for the dean of the McCombs School to show up at McCombs Enterprises. And so I didn't think much of it. And, he asked for a few minutes, and he came by and wanted to talk a little bit about a building project, and then said, look, Rad, I've really been racking my brain trying to come up with, I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction with the commencement address this year and try to come up with somebody that's young, that's handsome, that's been very successful in life. And at this point, he's got my attention. I'm listening. And he said, I just haven't been able to find anybody. Do you mind would you fill in for me in December 6th? And I said, sure, happy to do it. And so I came home and I said, well, actually, you're not going to believe this, but Dean Gilligan's asked me to give the commencement address. I said, but I'm a pretty competitive person, and that might come out throughout this speech. And so first thing I did was Google Admiral McRaven's speech. And I don't know if anybody in this room has seen it, but 2.6 million people have seen it online. And so clearly it was pretty successful. And I showed it to Ashley. I said, hey, what do you think? Here's the benchmark. I think I can take this guy. And she, in her most compassionate way, she goes, Rad, you're dead. You have no chance. But if you're going to have any chance at all, you better go find one of those uniforms that he's wearing there, and you might have a shot. So she said, so what are you going to focus on? And I said, well, it's simple. I'm 39 years old, but I'm an old soul when it comes to music, and both from my musical likes and my ability to dance. And I focus on old country music, and there's a great old song by a songwriter named Tom T. Hall. And it's a cowboy speaking to a poet. And the cowboy says to the poet says, what do you think the keys to life are? The cowboy says, it's simple. It's faster horses, older whiskey, younger women, and more money. And so I thought, well, I could focus on that today. And Ashley said, please, God, if you just bring that up, you're such a dead man. So with that kind of warning, I figured I might as well talk a little bit about my last 15 years. So it was exactly 15 years ago I was sitting in your seat, and it's been just an incredible run. I'm going to talk a little bit about the things we focus on at McCombs, and then towards the end a little bit of the lessons that I've learned over the last 15 years. Remember this number, 86,400. I'm going to come back to it. Later. So I was lucky enough to grow up in a household full of educators. My mom was a teacher all of her life. My father was a football coach. They both understood the power of education. But tragedy struck my family in my spring of my freshman year. I came into the home one night, and my dad was slumped over and had died of a heart attack. I was thrust into a position as a 16-year-old boy to make decisions that most people really didn't have to at that age. God had blessed me with enough athletic ability to have a decent high school and football and baseball career, and it's that same ability that allowed me to come to the University of Texas on a baseball scholarship and attend the McCombs Business School. In addition to my baseball scholarship, I was searching around for funds. We were long on love but short on financial resources in the Weaver household, and so my high school guidance counselor suggested that I apply for a scholarship called the Ford Salute to Education. I did that and was lucky enough to be awarded the scholarship. At that point in my life, I had no idea what that meant for me. Red McCombs has been a longtime Ford dealer in the city of San Antonio, and one of his general managers was on the selection committee and passed my essay and resume along to Red. And he happened to be the presenter that evening of the awards, and he stepped beside the podium, not unlike tonight, and said, please call me in the morning. I'd like you to come by my office. And so I did so. And that morning we talked quite a bit about what to expect at UT, what the last 4 years had held for me in my life after losing my father. And finally he said, look, what have you been doing to help support your mom? And I said, I've worked all my life from the time I was little trying to capture bees and selling them for a quarter of a piece. But, and he said, what have you done the last few years? And I said, well, I've worked for a custom home builder as a tool pusher. And he said, well, what's the guy pay you? And I said, well, he pays me $10 an hour and kind of cash at the end of the week. It was a great gig in high school. And Red shrugged his shoulders and said, look, I can't pay you $10 an hour, but I'll pay you $7.50 if you'd like to come work for me. And I immediately agreed to the wage and said, what do you want me to do? He said, show up tomorrow morning in shorts at 8 o'clock. And so I did. And at 8 o'clock, I showed up and got ushered to the make-ready department and started washing cars. And I washed cars every day from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, Red would come over the intercom, call me in his office, and we sat, and we would sit for 2 hours, and we would talk about what was going on locally, what was going on nationally, how they grew Clear Channel, what to expect at UT, what things to get involved in. Not to get pigeonholed into the things that you most like to do. Go do things that you don't like to do, and broaden your horizon a bit. It was the start of the greatest education of any entrepreneur could ever wish for. We've now been together for 19 years, but in that first summer, I learned three of the most valuable lessons of my life. First off, nothing is status quo. You're either growing or you're shrinking in all aspects of your life daily. Second, time is the most valuable commodity in the world. We're each given the same amount of time daily. It is up to us as to how we want to use it. And third, every decision you make has consequences. Some are immediate, and some are short-term in nature, and others take much longer to be realized. These simple concepts have influenced how I've lived every day of my life. If you fast forward to today, I'm proud to be Red's partner in 40 different companies. We have operations spread throughout the world, and none of these companies were in Red's portfolio 15 years ago when I was sitting in your seat. But all are governed by these three simple concepts. We've built some great businesses, we've made some great trades, and we've had our share of lumps. But I don't let 1 year go by without thanking Red for giving me what I call a ticket to the game that I didn't know existed. Before spending a little more time on each of these kind of major concepts, I want to talk to you about, we have three simple rules that we also follow at our place that kind of would be outside of the concepts. First, if you're fighting with your girlfriend, you probably shouldn't get married. And that's probably true in your personal life, but we use it in a business application. And if we can't come to terms with our partners or potential partners or a business that we're looking at buying very quickly, we're out. It just time and time again, every time we violated that rule, we've been proven wrong. Second, never invest in a Midland oil deal being pitched in San Antonio. And it's no offense to any Midland oil men in the crowd. We do quite a bit of business out there, but look, there's plenty of smart money in Midland. And so why would that deal make it to San Antonio? And you can apply that rule to any business, really. If somebody shows up with an opportunity for you, you need to first ask, why me? And then last, keep it simple. A rule that Red made for me when I first got out of school was we'd get pitched these different deals, and the pitch books may be 300 pages, it may be 500 pages, it may be 5 pages. But he had me condense, regardless of the length, condense it down to 1 page. And if I couldn't clearly articulate the value proposition on 1 page, then either one, I didn't understand the business very well, or two, it was much more complicated than anything that we would typically get into. So let me talk a little bit about this idea of status quo. Literally the first day I met Red in his office, he started pounding this status quo idea into my head, and so think of this. What crystallized it for me, he said, Red, think of a little boy playing catch with a ball. He said, your life is that ball. You're either going up or you're coming down at all moments. And that's true with your relationship with the Lord, with your professional relationship, with your personal relationships. Nothing. You're either growing or shrinking every minute of every day of your life. And if you think about that, it will drastically change how you approach your life. My dad used to have a saying. I told you earlier he was a high school football coach. He would say, run them when you get a chance to run them when you're winning. And what he meant by that for his high school football team is when things were good, he could really push his boys to get more out of them. And look, there's nobody better at that than Red. When businesses are good, markets are good like they are right now, it's really easy to let your foot off the accelerator, go home a little bit early, enjoy a little bit of your success, and look, that's when you leave more opportunities on the table than when things are bad and when you're scrapping around trying to find every penny you can find. Nothing replaces hard work. Be there early, stay late. You get lucky when you work harder and smarter than your competition. And then lastly, in the status quo area, be malleable. Learn from others. Continue your education daily. I talked about time being the most valuable commodity in the world. You in your life, it's true of my life today, but it'll be more so in yours. You're going to have to be connected. You're going to constantly have folks wanting your time and your attention. But you're going to have to really work hard on being present. Two very different things, hard to do, but necessary if you plan to have a full life. My dad had two heroes, Vince Lombardi and Paul Bear Bryant. It's no coincidence his heroes were football coaches as he lived for the sport. When Bear Bryant died, he had a small, very well-worn sliver of paper in his wallet, and on it said this, $86,400. He said, the magic bank account. Imagine you had won the following prize in a contest. Each morning, your bank would deposit $86,400 in your private account for your use. However, the prize has rules. First, everything you didn't spend during each day would be taken away from you. You may not simply transfer money into some other account. You may only spend it. The bank can end the game any day without warning. So what would you do personally? You would buy everything you could, right? Not only for yourself, but for all the people that you love and care for. Even for people you don't know. You could possibly spend it all on yourself, right? You would try to spend every penny and use it all because you knew it would be replenished the next morning, right? So actually, this game is real. Each of us is already the winner of the prize. Every morning we wake up, we get 86,400 seconds, the gift of life. When we go to sleep at night, any remaining time is not credited to us. When we haven't used up the day, it's forever lost. Yesterday is forever gone. And each morning the account is refilled, but the bank can dissolve your account at any time without warning. I learned this lesson early in life when I lost my dad. I'm convinced that effective time management is the key to living a successful, fulfilled life. When you leave this hall today, you will forever be searching for the perfect balance of work and play, or work and your spouse, or work and your kids. It's an almost impossible task, and it takes thought, prioritization, and sacrifice to get it right. Lastly, let's talk a little bit about decisions. Do your work, trust your gut, and don't deliberate. Make a decision and move on. Don't have a sense of entitlement. Be humble, but be confident in who you are. It's okay to ask me. When I come across the most successful folks that I deal with on a daily basis, I ask them, how many times do you look up and say, gosh, why did this happen to me? How am I so blessed to be in this position? And I can't tell you how many of them. I'm going to say 95% of them say, Rad, I ask that question to myself almost daily, certainly every week. There's a terrific quote from Nelson Mandela that I'm going to read to you here that I think really summarizes this. It's our deepest fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're the child of God. You playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened by shrinking so that other people can feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, unconsciously give people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. He was an amazing leader, and I just love that quote. I would say let's be an optimist. Look, the bearish case of any investment is the easiest to make, but without optimism, nothing happens. Without belief in yourself and in what it is you're trying to accomplish, nothing will ever happen. Last, respect your elders, but don't fear them. There will be a point in your career when you realize you are more talented than those who you report to. Be respectful, learn from their experience, and go do better. Be prepared to fail, but don't fear it. And as the doctor said earlier, keep perspective. Look, Churchill is credited with saying, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Don't let your greatest business accomplishments be the greatest accomplishments in your life. Go have a full life outside of your business. Serve others and you'll be served. Be aware of your surroundings. Observe all the processes that are happening. And always be looking for opportunities because they are around you at all times. Listen. It's the hardest thing to do is just listen. It's very typical and natural to think of what your response is going to be when somebody is speaking to you. But just listen to what they have to say. Communication is the most important skill in life, both personally and professionally. Work to get better at it. Learn more languages. Write letters. We have a great business partner in Louisiana that said, boys, I'm going to teach you a quick lesson on communication that we learned here a long time ago in Louisiana. It says, never write when you can call. Never call when you can meet in person. Never meet in person with just a wink and a nod will get you by. So learn from your successes and your failures. Everyone will tell you that you learn more from your failures than you do your successes. I don't agree. Remember what you did right in your successes and go do that again. Figure out what it is you do best and go do more of that. I don't like details. I'm terrible at details. They don't interest me. But I enjoy connecting people to ideas and structures to ideas and financial structures to things that don't typically fit. And so I try to do a lot of that. For the entrepreneurs in the crowd, pick a niche and drill down on it. Pick your partners first, then the deal, then the market. There are lots of ways to make money and create jobs. But find out what you're good at and go for it. You just got to go for it. More great ideas and companies die from indigestion and lack of action than anything else. And finally, to the class of 2014, you're graduating at the greatest time in history to be in business. Stock market is at all-time high. Cost of debt is at all-time lows. There's a solid job market for anyone who is really willing to work, and capital is available to young entrepreneurs. You're moments away from having your own ticket to the game. With it comes great responsibility to give back to this great university, which has given so much to each of us. We have some great slogans here at UT. We're Texas. What happens here changes the world. But my favorite is a sign that hangs in the baseball locker room at Just Falk Stadium. It says, "The winning tradition of the University of Texas will not be entrusted to the timid nor the weak." You are Texas. You can uphold the winning tradition of its graduates and change the world in the process. But first, you must simply go for it. Good luck. God bless you, and hook 'em horns.
Thanks, Brad. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Dr. David Platt is the Macomb School Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs and a faculty member in the Department of Accounting. Dr. Platt is here to present this year's degree candidates.
Good afternoon. It's now time to individually recognize the members of the graduating class of the Macomb School of Business for December 2014. Graduates, before I invite you to the stage, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the efforts of the faculty and staff members of the Macomb School BBA program for their dedication during your time at Macomb's. They are the ones who greeted you at orientation when you arrived confused. They helped you find classes and jobs. They taught you. They tested you. And today they're attending this ceremony to honor your accomplishments as you move on. They're seated behind me and around the hall, and I ask you to join me in offering them your thanks. Parents and family members, you will notice that many students are wearing one or more cords or medallions on their robes. These are indicators of special accomplishment. The burnt orange cords are worn by college scholars, and the bronze medallions are worn by distinguished college scholars. These symbols of academic achievement reflect both the grade point average earned and the rigor of the coursework undertaken by the students. Students wearing blue and green cords have added a global dimension to their education by participating in Macomb's BBA Study Abroad program. Students wearing red and gold cords are graduates of the Business Honors program. And students wearing pewter medallions are graduates of the Macomb's Leadership program. We will now call the students to the stage by major. Please note they are not required to be in alphabetical order so that they can sit with their friends. Graduates, we have provided a photographer to take a picture of you with Dean Gilligan, so please don't take selfies while you're on the stage or we'll be here till dinner. Degree candidates, please stand when directed and proceed to the stage for recognition. Dean Gilligan will make a presentation to each of you, assisted by BBA Assistant Dean Arthur Allert. As you cross the stage, I will move your tassel from right to left to symbolize the successful completion of your undergraduate studies. Then please return to your seat, remain there until everyone has been recognized and the ceremony has concluded. The ushers will assist you. We will begin by recognizing the students from accounting. Here to acknowledge these degree candidates is Professor Stuart Singer, a lecturer in the Department of Accounting.
Kiara Truitt Chambers. Immaculata Young. Jennifer Song. Insu Lee. Austin Edmiston. Lei Chingao. Shinran B. Shiroz Muhammad Ali. Blair Landrum. Jared Hosey. Trevi Kelly. Andrew Frost. Christopher Garcia. Madhvi Patel. Daisy Munoz. June Bion. Catherine Reeser. Yang Lee. Catherine Hemmert Dunlap. Brian Pham. Radhika Kumar. Asif Ali. Helen Chung. Zhu Zhang. Mengsha Lu. Vivian Zlong Huang. Chin Zhang. Scott Huff. Congratulations. Thomas Liu. Rachel Preby. Cassandra Blanchard. Paloma Gante. Elizabeth Garcia. Paige Harris. Nathan Evanson. Schaefer, right? Just Zach? You got it. Zach Schaefer. Congratulations. Do you want the Lynn? Clara Lynn Bailey. Griffin Douthit. Yamyoung Aaron Kim. Yamyoung Aaron Kim.
Next, we will recognize students in the Business Honors Program. Professor Robert Prentice is here today to acknowledge these degree candidates. Dr. Prentice is director of the Business Honors Program.
Jay Shaw. Rohit Bachal. Jeremy Chue. Shannon Way. Dimple Swally. Leslie Ellen Cameron. Stephanie Ham. William Butcher. Shaquille Patel.
At this time, we will recognize finance majors. Professor William Way. Professor William Way, a senior lecturer in the Department of Finance, is here today to acknowledge these degree candidates.
Marshall Perry. Blaine Herman. Matthew Johnson. Aditi Ramachandran. Eric McAdam. Michael Lefebvre. Stephanie Stevens. Amy Sizdek. Good to see you. Eric Stevens. Everett Jones. Rachel Deinhardt. Alizain Ali. Shoaib Ali. Genevieve Mitchell. James Jackson. Robert Goheen. Brett Ferdinand. John Connell. Jacob Cantu. Garrison Allen. Miranda Jane Fell. Long Wu. Brian Wynn. Matthew Montez. Michael Liu. Nicholas Bleekas. Vincent Nguyen. Charles Eckhoff. Evan Schofield. Andrew Young. Clay Olson. Carlos Hernandez. Omar Ayub. David Nam. Sally Lopez. Matthew Myers. Rachel Jackson. Adrian Moreno.
will now recognize management majors. Professor Christy Loescher, a senior lecturer in the Department of Management, is here today to acknowledge these degree candidates.
Amanda Marie Flores. Leticia Garcia. Thomas Dowlern. Matthew Toomey. Elaine Pina. Channing Taylor Dipple. Wesley Ramon Giancarlo Baltimore. Pedram Matthew Romanian.
At this time, we will recognize graduates in Management Information Systems and Supply Chain Management. Professor Clint Tuttle, a lecturer in the Department of Information Risk and Operations Management, is here to acknowledge these degree candidates.
Cassandra Gallegos Moore. Michelle Nguyen. Neelam Nizar Ali Momen. Jessica Wu. Gabriela Sofia Peralta. James Smith. Michael Spake. Addison Leatherman. Ashton Lowe. Tyler Spencer. Alicia Chumadia. Huing Vu. Victoria Haddix. Aaron Jan. Camille Dunes. Jessica Torres Gangu. Ben Jones. Ali Aziz. Sherez Prasla. Kayam Ali. Paulina Delgado Laguna. Henry Chang. Jong Soon Andrew Lee. Gotcha. Congrats, bud. Hamza Alawala. Christy Vowell Roper. Olivia Butsabuban. Shirley Liu. Kelsey Fall. Danielle Tamuti. Alejandro Flores.
And we conclude by recognizing graduates in international business and marketing. Professor Linda Golden, a professor in the marketing department, is here today to acknowledge these degree candidates.
Samantha Horst. Veronica Singh. Ji Suk Mak. Ann V. Nguyen. James Kapoviski. Catherine Neff. Tiffany Wing. Lauren Trehan. Kyle Cook. Brian Lamb. Ina Morash. Sophia Alumia. Samantha Choi. Paige Blunt. Sherry Zhang. Menming Chen. Dylan Ramirez. Colin Prince. Sam Walsh. Alex Faust.
Now would be an outstanding time to shout uproariously. Graduates, congratulations. You worked hard to get this, and you deserve it. We're so proud of you for everything you've accomplished. I know the first thing you want to do is recognize those who made this possible. Will you please turn around and applaud your family and loved ones, please? Please stand up and turn around. Okay, sit back down. Again, congratulations. Well, today marks the first day of the rest of your life as a Texas Ex. You are now part of one of the largest and most powerful alumni networks in the world, and your university needs you to stay connected, stay informed, always care about the value of the degree you just earned and the continued pursuit of excellence at our great university. Our gift to you is a Texas Ex's membership for 1 year. Use this to stay connected through communications and get involved with your Texas Ex's group wherever you go. Here to tell you more about the McCombs Alumni Network is Mr. Cody George. Cody graduated in the class of 2004 with a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in finance. He spent many years working in finance and now works in both commercial and residential real estate in and around Austin. Cody has served as the BBA Alumni Austin Chapter President since 2010. Please join me in welcoming Cody George.
Thank you, Dean Gilligan. It's extremely important to all of us that you stay connected with McCombs after you graduate. Dean Gilligan has graciously given each of you a year-long membership to the Texas Exes, along with a ticket to the 2015 McCombs Alumni Network Barbecue. This gift ensures that each of you will stay in touch with your fellow McCombs alumni and UT. Many of you know by now what city you're going to be living in. I would encourage you to reach out to your local McCombs alumni chapter and get involved. We have chapters in cities across the United States and in 12 different countries. Through these chapters, you'll participate in guest speakers, faculty speakers, sports teams, game watching parties, networking events, and volunteer opportunities. As Dean Gilligan stated, I've been the chapter president here in Austin since 2010. I give so much of my time to McCombs because I've realized just how much I've received from McCombs. And it's just a small way that I can give back. As a student, I received a wonderful education. I developed lifelong friendships and met future business partners. I continue to benefit since graduating. I'm telling you guys, attend your alumni events. For me, that's where I met my wonderful and beautiful wife. So whether it's being involved with your chapter or mentoring students, Macomb's success is built on the energy and the generosity of alumni like you. So congratulations, good luck, and hook 'em horns.
Dr. Prentice would want me to say that Cody's remark about finding his wife at a chapter event was not a guarantee of an outcome. You're on your own there. To call a close to our ceremony, it's a tradition that we all join our new graduates in singing The Eyes of Texas. Hortensia Campbell will lead us in the singing of The Eyes of Texas. Hortensia is a senior in the Integrated Masters of Professional Accounting program, specializing in taxation and managerial accounting and control with a minor in music. Following graduation, she aims to obtain her CPA license and pursue a career in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles. Please join in standing and singing The Eyes of Texas.
Congratulations!